Hello, and welcome to Pi, Projects, Ideas, and Experiments. In today's video, plants, but different. You take a jar, you put stuff in it, see if it grows. Basically, a terrarium in a jar. So I thought to myself, well, what better plant to give this first try than a plant that will literally grow in a wet paper towel. Don't know if I mentioned in a previous video, I finally figured out what those little plants are called. They are called maternity plant, or mother of thousands. So I have some seeds that or seed pods, seedlings. Got a whole bunch of those collected. And I'm going to put some dirt in a jar, put the seeds in the dirt, a little bit of water, put the lid on it, watch it grow. The other reason for this entire experiment, if you've seen my other video, I have a terrarium, and these plants were in there. Well, due to unforeseen things, some slugs had gotten into the terrarium from a plant that I had bought. And, well, they just seemed to really like the leaves of that plant. And we've had this plant for, well, quite literally decades. And, well, not the particular plant because, you know, seedlings and whatnot. And I didn't want to lose my cultivation of them. So I'm doing this, and this way it's a more of a controlled growing environment, and you know, keep them alive and harvest the seedlings and see how it goes. This jar will not be sealed forever. It will be opened up periodically, seeds harvested, stuff like that, but it's just to keep it more controlled. There's probably better ways to do it than I'm going to do, but like with everything else, this is the way that I am doing it. Doesn't mean you should do it this way. Do at your own risk. Disclaimers, yada yada, all that. Show you what I'm working with for the plant, for the jar. It's a jar! It is a pickle jar. The larger the jar, the better. This is obviously a gallon pickle jar. It is glass. Don't use plastic. And clean it out real good. And that's your starting basis. I originally thought about doing this in a little mason jar, but these plants grow too much. Probably in a more controlled environment like this, they should stay a little smaller. But I don't know, part of the experiment. Alright, here are some seeds that I collected. As you can see, some of them have already decided to sprout. They are literally just growing in a bag. I'm going to put most of these in the jar, because what I'm also going to do is add a bit of a control solo cup container. And I'm just going to put some dirt in that, sprinkle some seeds on that, put that in the windowsill, and see what happens. So let's get to planting. What most people will do with a jar terrarium is they'll put a little bit of gravel on the bottom. They put window screen or something like that as the drainage layer. And then they put dirt and everything. Now, I'm not doing that. I don't really have all the things needed for that. I don't have window screen and all of that. And, I mean, it's basically a container without drainage. So just don't put that much water in it. Placement of this is going to be interesting because it won't fit on my windowsill. So I'm going to have to figure that out. I'll probably put it on something to give it some warmth for a little while. But other than that, it's dirt in a jar with some seeds. Not to be confused with the seed jar, which if you'd like to know what a seed jar is, if I can figure it out, watch the video. Hopefully that comes through. Maybe I'll put a link to it in the description or pinned comment or whatever, that kind of stuff. Still getting used to all the technical jargon. But anyway, let's get to it. Take your glass jar, like I said, remove your labels, clean it out. You know, obviously pickle juice isn't probably going to affect anything that bad, but just give it a good once over, dry it out. There you go. It does still smell like pickles. I'm just gonna put some dirt in there. Got my measuring device for my soil. This isn't gonna work out quite how I wanted, but all right, here we go. Now I'm gonna go a little heavy on the soil, just to make sure that there is not only sufficient soil, but the nutrients and everything needed. I think that should be about good. It's probably too much, but I'm just gonna kind of pat it down a bit. That's a good, I don't know, inch and a half, something along those lines. I'm a guy. We're horrible at measuring. But yeah, I'm just putting some dirt in there. Now I'm going to take some of my seeds, and I'm just going to kind of toss them in. Just tap them down so they contact with the dirt. And then I have a cup of water here. I'm not going to use all of this. I'm going to try to get it in there so it doesn't splash and mess up the glass. I'm just going to put some water in there. Let's see if we can get a little closer to see how this all works. If I can do it to where it goes down the side, that would be best. I'll keep an eye on that, and as it needs more water, if it needs it, I'll put more in there. But one of the main points of an experiment like this is a closed loop ecosystem. So the plants should absorb the water, perspirate the water. Basically, it'll create condensation in the jar and cycle back through. The amount of water shouldn't matter too much on this. See if it grows. Alright, and for the second part, this one's even simpler. It's a cup filled with dirt. Now I'm just going to take the rest of these seeds. I'm just going to put some of these on here. Tap those down a little bit, make sure they get in contact with the dirt. And again, a container with no drainage. Be very careful with the water. And that's it. As you can see how the color changes here. You can see where the water's going. With both of these are different growing conditions and everything, so it'll be interesting to see how they compare. If you get a chance, it doesn't have to be this particular plant. It could be just about anything. Grass seeds, you know, maybe a little cutting of something. See if you can get it to grow. This is a great way to try something different. Get your hands dirty, get back to earth. Now, like I said, with these, they do kind of grow everywhere. So it'll be interesting to see how the constraint of a jar may affect its growth. All you got to do is grow some plants. Be careful with which ones you grow. But thank you for watching Pi. And remember, be smart, stay safe, have fun. What if we're all in a jar? What if Earth isn't round or flat? What if we're all in a terrarium of some alien species?